Well, hello. Um, I guess just jump in. The title for the video is Trying to Clear Up the Confusion. I'll try again, since people still do not understand why I am asking for more funds. This was my response to one inquirer, quote, I have explained this in other videos, though I purposely avoid too much detail so as to not get into the blame game. My trip was hosted by the one who invited me to Oz. Then the hosting was withdrawn while I was in Canberra earlier this week, making it necessary to rent hotel rooms rather than simply staying with a friend. Believe me, I would not be asking for help if the original game plan did not collapse on me. Once again, here's my PayPal link. Indeed, I actually got up to record my video an hour, almost an hour ago, well, 45 minutes maybe. And I had no internet connection, which I had had before I finally laid down and to go to sleep around 10 o'clock. And it's now 2:20 a.m. So I got a little bit of sleep, got up to record my video, and then go back to bed again, which is my normal pattern. Uh, but I didn't have an internet connection. They don't have a telephone in this motel room. So I had to get dressed completely instead of just putting my shirt on, go out my door and go to the bar that's still open, which is pretty much the only thing that's open in the gambling stuff and that's part of the hotel complex, and get somebody to come here and show me how to reestablish my internet connection so that I could record my video and respond. I was responding, actually, the quote that I had uh, was something that I couldn't make. It says no internet access, even though it showed that on my computer that I was online. I actually wasn't online. I had to go back, and he taught me how to refresh the page. And I guess I have to refresh it every 4 hours to keep my internet connection, which is something that I've never had to do before. It makes it very challenging. But once again, I would not. I don't like asking for money. Do you understand? It was not until this trip that I started, asking for money because I don't want to deplete the little bit of funds that I have left to hopefully find a place to live where I'm not under, uh, where I'm not dependent on somebody else. Let's put it that way, where I have a level of independence and I'm paying my own way, but I can't afford it on the limited income that I have. Do you folks not understand the medical conditions that I've gone through this year and all the legal bills that I've had in trying to save my home? And then I lost my home in February, and I was still paying my attorney because the notification of everything didn't come through until afterwards because they were mailing it to an address that was no longer being delivered to my to where I was staying with my son. Folks, there's a lot of confusion here, and I'm trying my best to clear it up so that you can understand why I need help. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to have to be asking for money. But when I came to Australia, I didn't think that I was going to be staying in hotels, although one of my friends did offer to pay for 2 nights in a hotel. I haven't been able to get back in touch with her. I actually met her in person with my original hostess. We had a meal together, but I haven't heard from her since. So I don't know if that offer of 2 nights in hotel rooms still stands or not. It was made, and they couldn't have me stay with them because they don't have accommodations to have someone stay where they're living, but offered again to put me up in a hotel for 2 nights. I need a hotel for 2 weeks from here on out. Uh, I leave on the 31st. I do not need a hotel for then. I mean, if I have to sit in the airport on the 30th and wait for my flight and everything to go, I'll sit in the airport. I certainly can't. I can't rent a car now because I don't have the funds to do it. The funds that I would have used to rent a car now have to be set aside to try to cover hotel rooms, but the expense is much more. So it's a different category, and I didn't have to rent a car for the entire trip. I only needed it for when uh, I only needed it for when my friend was going to be going an extended trip that I chose not to go on because it was just simply too long a ride, and my experience with being cooped up in the jet coming over to Australia, uh, and the problems that I had with my legs and feet because of not ample leg room in the airplane. And, I mean, I just chose not to make that long journey to meet the shaman uh, and do the native Aboriginal. I guess it's like a sweat lodge and other native ceremonies with a shaman. It just was too far away, and I backed out on that. And during that time that my hostess would be making that trip, I would be, obviously needing transportation. So that's when I would rent the car for 4 or 5, 6 days, whatever time she was gone. I didn't expect what happened on this trip to happen. And if I had known it was going to happen, I probably wouldn't be in Australia right now. If I had known there was going to be a touch and go situation, uh, with having transportation and having a place to stay, I would not from the get go have made this trip to the other side of the world. Uh, Again, I totally lost the a whole day. I mean, the 2nd of May didn't exist for me. I left on the 1st and arrived at my destination on the 3rd. The 2nd just simply disappeared because I was traveling backwards in time, I guess, or forwards in time. Whatever it is, I lost time, and I lost a day. Now going back, I leave on the 31st and I arrive on the 31st. It's still a 30 some hour trip, but the time is moving in the other direction because that's where or the time isn't. I am moving in the opposite direction, so I'm actually gaining some time. So I did make some flight changes. I'm not going to make 2 plane flights in Australia, as I mentioned, I think, on the previous video. I did spend an extra couple $100 to switch my flight to go from Melbourne to LA to uh, North Carolina back to Florida. Uh, and that's what I had to do because I didn't want to go to Brisbane, where they have 2 airports, one local and one international, and they're not right next to each other. It takes 5 to 10 minutes drive to get from one to the other. And I didn't want that hassle because you have to take your bags off at the, and in the case of coming, I had to take the bags off the international flight, have the bags hauled to the other airport, and then recheck them in for the local flight, which is, to me, it's absurd because it's still me traveling in the same country, but that's how it works. But I, again, dropped that part of the trip out and just go straight from Melbourne to LA, which should eliminate the hassle completely. But I paid $200 extra approximately to make that switch. So these are things that I've had to go through that I did not plan on in the beginning, and it's depleted funds. That's why I'm asking for help, and it's some people have come through with some donations, and I very much appreciate that. Um, One of I guess it was Peter's mom actually gave me a $50 Australian donation. So anyway, I wanted to try my best to clear up the confusion And that's it in a nutshell. And I do appreciate those of you that are willing to help. And I ask for understanding again. Uh, Please listen to what I'm saying so that you don't get more confused. I'm trying to clear it up. Thank you. Namaste.